Hello, my name is Doug Leisure. I wanted to record this video today to address the issue in the donation software about entering the names of the specials when you're doing the data entry. So the special works now is you would indicate that the donor wants to donate $10, and it would be to Vacation Bible School. That would be the special offering that we're doing. And so the software will record that and put the name of the special Vacation Bible School recorded in the annual tab. And what we're seeing, especially for anything that that spans multiple weeks for your special offering, is that sometimes we write it this way, and sometimes we write it as the abbreviation VBS, and sometimes we do it as all lowercase letters. Okay, now for us as humans, we look at that and we say, yeah, that's all the same thing. We know it's all the same because we're smarter than the software, than the computer is. We get that, and so we think we've donated $30 in total to our Vacation Bible School special offering. But the reality in the way the software works is it sees each of these as a different donation because of the subtle differences: uppercase, lowercase, abbreviation, fully spelled out, sometimes only partially spelled out. These things all make a difference. So what we're going to talk about today are some steps that you can use to confirm that the information being placed in here is always the same. And we're going to be looking at a tool that Excel calls data validation. So before we go look at that, let's just look at the problem. I'll do one more donation, another $10 for VBS. So what you would expect is it finds this and considers it to be one special offering. This and this will be summed together as a second, and then this is, to the software, looks like something different as well. So three different donations all being summarized. So let's take a quick look at that, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm just going to refresh the specials, and if we come down here and look at the results. Oh, that's interesting. So the Vacation Bible School uppercase and lowercase did get combined together. So it did see these as the same thing, and then of course VBS as the abbreviation was something different. So the way we're going to solve that, like I say, is the tool that Microsoft calls data validation. Now I'm going to take you over to the parameters tab, where I can show you an example of that, because in the new version for 2024 I needed to use this quite a bit. So a lot of the parameters are now using this data validation drop down so that you can pick off of the list the correct answer. And so in this case we're just simply asking yes or no. Is it all uppercase letters? Is it lowercase letters? Is it a mixture? Which one do you want to use? We need to be consistent in what we enter. So the drop down list gives me only two choices, and I can select the right one, and it will always be entered the way we're expecting it. If we come down to something like the receipts, there's actually 5 different choices. Now they're all listed here, so rather than me having to know what the choices are and type them in correctly, I can just pick them from the list. So that's the whole point of the drop-down list, is to make it easy on the end user, the one who's using this, to fill it in, and to fill it in the same way, the way you expect it to happen. And that's again what Excel calls the data validation. So that's an example of it, but let's go back and we're going to make our own is what we're going to do. So we'll go back to the entry, and we want to build that data validation here in the back here. We want to build it for these cells underneath the name of the special. Okay, so the first step we're going to go through is to actually build the list of items. We're going to then give it a name, and Excel calls that a range name, and then we'll use the name of those items here when we build the data validation here. So let's go over to the parameters. Now you could make your own tab. That's fully up to you if you want to do that, your own tab, and put your list in there. But you can also come to the parameters tab, and if you just scroll down here a little bit, what you'll see is that I gave you an area here, a blank area with lots of room where you can build your own list. So now this tab, like a lot of the others, are protected, so we're going to go to Review and Unprotect it, and now we can type in here, and I'm going to say that this is my list of items for these specials drop down. Okay, so that's just a name, and then starting here and down for whatever you want, 2, 4, 5, 10 items. I'm going to say let's borrow something up here that's already in yellow, because once we're done with this and we protect this tab, you won't be able to modify it if it isn't one of these yellow unprotected cells. So let's just borrow that and put it in here. All right, and then we'll start to put in the names that we want. So we're going to use, for us, we always want to consistently use the initials VBS. That'll be for Vacation Bible School. All right, and then we have another donation that we do for the entire all of the winter months, and that's coats for kids. So another special offering we do. And again, you just, whatever you want to put in here, go ahead and put those other items in here. Make your list. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and highlight this entire range. Okay, so this entire range, and we're going to give it a name. Specials drop down. How's that sound? So come over here, specials drop down. When you're creating these range names, stay away from ampersands and exclamation points and all those pound signs, all those special characters. So probably the best thing is just type it in as if it's just one long word. Okay, so specials drop down, and then that'll will refer to all of these cells. Now initially you're only going to have these two items that they're going to pop up, these two items in the blank area, but then later, as you need additional things, you just come in here and add them to the bottom of the list. Looking way down in the future, if you are doing a lot of these things and you fill it up, you might eventually need to come back and unprotect the sheet and insert additional rows. As you insert the rows, it'll push everything down. Do this before you're out of room, and what it'll do is it'll push it down, but it will also then automatically lengthen the range that name is associated with, so that the range name is not going to apply to all of the longer list, because you insert it in the middle of the existing list. Hopefully that made sense to you. The insert in the middle of the range, and so the named range automatically grows. Okay, so this is our list, and now we can protect the sheet because we're done over here, and we want to leave it protected so we don't accidentally make any mistakes over here and break anything. And we're going to now finish this off by going back to the Entry tab, and we'll come here to our, let's get rid of these because we're gonna put them back in again using our drop down list. But let's create our first one here. Let's see, same thing. This is a protected tab, so we're going to unprotect it. That allows us to make changes to it. And then I said Excel calls this data validation, so we're going to go to the Data tab or menu, and over here we have a thing called validation. There's a little drop down there, data validation, and then we're going to choose data validation, and it'll come up to this screen, and this is where you tell it what kind of validation we're doing. And what we're going to say is that we're going to allow a value from the list. Okay, so under settings, allow, so it's going to be data input from the list. What list? Well, we click right here, and that's going to allow us to go over to our parameters. Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. We don't need to do it that way. We can just type in sorry, specials drop down, and hit the enter key. Specials drop down, because we gave it the named range. We don't have to, you could highlight this, but we already have the the named range that we gave it. Specials drop down. Okay, go back here, and there are our choices. VBS, Codes for Kids. There's one blank one. We're not seeing the rest of them only because I think it's collapsing it to only show one blank. As you enter additional things over there, we'll see more things in the list. So the one thing I didn't do, let's go back to the data validation. This is where you have a little bit of a choice. So the way it works now, let's see, we have an option here to ignore blank, so it's allowed to be blank. That's not a problem. The way it works currently, though, is if I try to put in something that's not on the list. Oh, sorry, I thought it was going to give me an error. Okay, sorry, the data validation error alert, show an error after invalid data is entered. So that's why I thought it was going to pop up a little message. Okay. All right. Well, never mind then. Sorry. I was trying to give you that option so it would allow you to put in new items as you're moving forward. In case it's not on the list, you don't want to be restricted so that you can't enter something new. So we can enter something new here. But the way you want to use it is you want to select it off of the list. Okay. And blank is also a valid choice because we do have those areas at the bottom that have nothing in it. Once we've done that, we have a drop down, but right now it's only applied to row 1. So what we want to do is just simply use the Excel copy, and then we want to highlight and paste that same cell with the drop down in it, apply that to all of these other cells. We're going to use the paste, so that'd be the first option, the normal paste. And then if we come down here to any place, we can now test it and see that it is working. Okay, and if you have a new item, not that you'd ever do a special for Doug, but just the idea that I can type something else in there. Okay, now if it's something else that you want to always use on your lookup, of course you come back here to the parameters, come down here, and then just add your additional new item right in those yellow cells that you created. Come back here and we'll see that Doug is now an option, right? So you see how these things are now linked, the data validation that you copied down to all the other cells. So any cell that you're on, you leave it blank if you don't need it, of course. You can pick off the list. So it just gives you a nice way to select these items so that they are always consistently entered the same. And to add new items, it's just a matter, like I say, come over here to the parameters and add it to the bottom of your list. All right, that is exactly, oh, I'm sorry, sorry, last thing. After you make these changes, right, then we will once again protect the entry tab. And this is really important. Use the Excel Save button, because what we just did here was all Excel types of things only. So now we need to use the Excel icon to save our changes. So I don't want those saved in there though. The stuff I entered I don't want saved. The drop down is still there. Okay, so now it's saved and empty, ready for use next week. All right, that's what I wanted to cover. Thank you.